Welcome back. We're here to do the karmic third-party energy update for the end of the month, transitioning over into July. And it's interesting because already I'm seeing within the cards a context of July being made. Whenever I get the Cracker card, or which will give you a close-up view of the bottom row, it's the second card in. This really signifies July. I always get the Christmas in July. So there's a couple of significant cards in different decks where this message comes up. And again, because we are at the end of the month, moving into the new, spiritually, the first thing I noticed was the crowning energy. And the first term I heard was asleep at the wheel. And I felt it was more a spiritual analogy for this read with these individuals in mind, transitioning over into the next month. And the first thing I noticed really from this crowning energy is we have this card in reverse: belonging to your own dreams, create your own life. And, you know, before I came on here live, I noticed the time and it was 5:11:11. Yes, that is AM. I must have dedication. And, you know, this card also relates to a 5. And I was, during my spiritual awakening, you know, 5s were very difficult for me. I do know there was a point in time in my life where through that initiation into my awakening, I was really asking and requiring a lot of change. And I really spiritually did not know how that was going to come about. But the 5s really did create a lot of tower moments in my life, but they did inadvertently create the change I was really overdue and needing. So regardless, I do feel these individuals are going through a change. They may be very reluctant. There could be a lot of codependence. You know, and codependence, again, let's put that aside. This person could be very fixated on everybody else or what something looks like or the routine. And sometimes that can be stagnancy. It can be, look, this, you know, the tried and true, this is what it is and this is how I feel. And this card being in reverse, I feel, you know, sometimes it can be where universe is trying to come in, they're trying to intervene, we're not listening, doors are closing. And tower moments can occur. And this person is really focused on things and keeping things exactly the same. And the 5 signify, no, in fact, that's not going to be possible, even if you feel so. So as we move to the next row, I'm noticing in the past position, we have the clover leaf, we have the luck. And it is in reverse. And this is relating to the past. You know, sometimes it can be the writing on the wall and the person not acknowledging it. And I'm definitely seeing through the heart chakra, we have a birth here. And this is going to be a new beginning. And this can feel that this person is in uncharted waters, feeling that there is a new beginning here. Maybe even being a little bit like the Fool card in Tarot, going into it and feeling as though, no, you know, we can do this. But this apprehension to do with the fact that they may sense that change is coming, but still really spiritually want to keep things exactly the same. They also might not realize that what is for you always comes towards you, but what is not is always taken from you. And we can take those things extremely personal. They may not even know the patterns that they have that are quite self-sabotaging. And this is an opportunity to turn over a new leaf and do things in a different way. Regardless of how they're feeling, you know, it feels like they're selling themselves short. And that's by keeping themselves in a loop, but they're not acknowledging this. They're trying to ignore it. They also do feel that regardless of the fact that this situation, this karmic relationship is not sitting and fitting in a way they desire, they still are reluctant to have this change. They're still not acknowledging and in denial about the fact that A, the connection between them isn't in alignment, and B, you know, Jupiter entering Gemini was always going to be one of those moments where codependent relationships simply won't work. Why? Is because, you know, Jupiter linking to the 9th house is all to do with like a spiritual connection, a marriage, the sense of fun, the expansion of a situation. And, you know, Gemini needs its freedom. Gemini needs its freedom. It wants to be connected, but it's a different way of having a relationship. So codependent karmic connections are really under the next year going to come under a lot of scrutiny and a lot of triggers, because they're going to struggle with these dynamics. And I see this really within the twin energy of the conscious connection, and it's in a reversal of the two feminine energy archetypes on this card. And let's see what that card drops down to. Yeah, 8. It's a Pluto energy. So it's to do with those, you know, how do we be joint? How do we be in connections? How are these things directly impacting our nervous system and our attention and our tribal instincts? And you know, it's doing things differently, but they're really going to struggle with this. So we do look to the past, and again, this is luck in reverse. This is, you know, blessings that didn't come to pass, maybe feeling they've had some hard times, and also this lack mentality. So particularly feeling, they could be feeling as though, look, you know, this is as good as I can get. This is the way it is. Let's keep in a loop, especially from this not belonging to your own dreams. This energy is very, very out of alignment. And sometimes it can be circumstantial, where we are in acknowledging and aware of the fact that we're in a connection or we're doing something and it's not in alignment with us, but it's a sacrifice at a very temporary level we're doing to get, it's a means to an end, so to speak. But I don't feel these individuals are acknowledging it as a means to an end, because they've entangled themselves in the circumstance. Yeah, that they could really be wondering at a foundation level, how the hell, and I was drawn almost to, so I feel the energy of them is quite cross, because it was, how the bleep did I attract this? And, you know, they're looking to the future, but unbeknownst to them, you know, this is an opportunity for them to get really clear about, you know, what they want. And I don't know why I'm sensing, and I may actually check if we're moving into a Mercury retrograde as we transition over, because it feels Mercury. It feels almost like something significant is happening, moving into the month. Let's take a look. And the first thing I heard was Mercury. Let's have a look. Mercury will be in Leo as we move into the beginning of the month on the 2nd. Venus later on will enter into Leo. No Mercury retrograde, but something is there that telling me to look. Oh, Lord, Neptune, the house of delusions. Okay, that makes sense. Talk about psychic attacks. So it is moving retrograde, and Chiron is also moving retrograde. So these are wounds and triggers. Retrogrades don't have to be something negative, but they really do signify something of a revelation. It's like, I was out of alignment. I need to shift the way I do things. It's a bitter pill to swallow. So we are also going to have the sun entering Leo on the 22nd, and we're going to have a moon in Cancer, which can be, again, very emotional. Very, very emotional. So July, moving into July for these individuals. 7, yeah. Releasing the dark wounds, let love live. This is a 7. This is to do with marriages, contracts, partnerships. And, you know, the outcome card is no need to fear. I'm going to pull a clarifier on this, because I almost feel, you know, if some significant change doesn't happen, it's almost like, this notion I get is they're just not going to know what they're getting into, and it's not going to get better. It's going to get worse. What you deny persists. And I feel that this person is making a situation harder for themselves than it needs to be. Okay, why is this the outcome card, please? And what advice can you give for this situation? It's okay, there's, for them, even though the opportunity, the offer, the situation is so small, yeah, again, it drops down to a 9, so it's Jupiter. It's to do with a connection. It's to do with growth and expansion. So if you're surrounding yourselves with a lot of problems and just saying, you know, I can just do this for a little bit more, the quadrant will feel problems in their mind. The quadrant's reactions and demeanors will directly be impacted. Yeah, it's them being their own worst enemy. And they're so defiant on it. Like, I'm looking at the eyes of this individual, and it's almost like, especially the way I'm looking at the card, the sarcasm within the eyes is almost like defiant to universe, and it's simply not going to work. Okay, what will be waiting for them on the other side should they proceed in this same manner, please? What do we need to know? Okay, somebody is going to intervene. They are going to be compartmentalized. Okay. I need to ask another question. Okay, not what they believe it's going to be, because they feel there's two outcomes, but there's not. Not what they're thinking. Not what the quadrant believes. What is the physical outcome if they continue as they are doing such now? They'll be told. They'll get the answer, and space will be created. We will look into this next week as we move into the new month. If you do want to see the next edition, you can come through and join our YouTube members, or click the bell and subscribe, and you'll have the next edition out soon. This is going to be a very interesting transition. I do believe some potential towers and revelations are there. Really, for the outcome card, what was coming up was, initially when I was pulling the clarifiers at first, I was like, okay, well, that's really positive as an outcome. Is this the outcome, or is this, because remember, I did say this person's quite stubborn and fixated with the way they view things. They were believing it was going to go through, and they were going to get exactly what they want, and they felt there were two ways it could go. That they would either keep this person very close to them to manipulate their way back in, or it would take the connection to the next level. And I thought, well, that's really interesting, because the surrounding cards were looking quite negative. And then my intuition clicked, and I was like, okay, no, what is the real reality of this, regardless of the quadrant's opinion? And space and communication was coming in, and I feel it was a statement, very Gemini in notion, and yeah, definitely room created between the karmic relationships. So we will check in with this next week. If you do want to come through and say, remember to click the bell and comment and tell me how this situation is playing out for you from an observation point of view.